Hey everyone, I'm gonna go ahead and explore the book I talked about yesterday. If you didn't see that video, that's okay. I went through and talked about two books I found recently at Barnes & Noble that are Papercraft books that I couldn't resist. And one of them is this Enchanted Kingdom by Paper Love. And I don't normally get too into the fantasy kingdom stuff, especially when it comes to junk journaling, but I was really drawn to this, and I think it's because Halloween is coming up. I've been kind of in that mode, and in fact, I am planning on doing some work with a printable kit that I recently released and created and released, called the Poison Ledger, which was created out of an actual vintage poison record book that I had found. And so I took that and a bunch of different vintage sort of pharmacy, apothecary kinds of imagery, a little bit of grunge, and put it all together. I will be honest with you, I did not realize until it was far too late, and I had been printing lots of pieces of prototypes and other things. I did not realize that my printer was printing colors incorrectly. I just thought for some reason that what I was seeing on my screen was not printing the way I expected, and I was playing with a lot of different colorways, and it's a big long story. I should have picked up on it way sooner. But as a result, everything has tended to have either a strong pink leaning tinge or a strong yellow leaning, and that's just because my magenta and yellow cartridges were malfunctioning. I don't know. Anyway, I do not like to waste anything that I can avoid wasting, which means I have lots and lots of pieces of this kit that I need to use. And again, it's all very pink or yellow. I do have some that are orangier as well. The original kit and original scanning that I did is a bit more of your traditional grunge colors. But I had decided to play with one of my alternate colorways, and I printed lots and lots of stuff that ended up in this pinkier tone. And I think it's time for me to play around more with that printable and sort of celebrate the season with it. So I'm gonna look through this Enchanted Kingdom book and pull a few things that I think would work in conjunction with that Poison Ledger, because I almost never just work with a single kit or something like that. I like to mix and match. I like to play around with themes and pull things together. I think that's part of what makes it fun for me. So I kind of want to see what I think will work with my little Poison Ledger and incorporate this. So let's see, because it doesn't have to be all about poison, does it? It can also be just about darker, more gothic and ghouly imagery. Right now, I'm just sort of flipping through the book, taking stock of what I'm seeing so that I can then go back and pull things out. There's some raven imagery I'm enjoying. I like a lot of the more like black and white stuff. Oh, this is really pretty. Trying to think of how I would incorporate that into a journal. Full transparency, if this doesn't work for me the way that I'm expecting, I'm going to take it back to the store and potentially trade it for another one of the paper books. So if it doesn't call out to me, I'm not going to pull anything out. And for those of you who wanted to see inside, you won't see what's in the little envelopes, but you'll see the rest here today. So I do like these. They're not very poisony, although I can assume, I do have mushrooms and flowers in the poison ledger quite a bit. I did specifically sketch ones out that are super poisonous. So I do like this little image, but it's pretty tiny. I do like the moths here. Again, that sort of pink and purple kind of color would work. So those two seem like they would do what I'm looking for. But yeah, when I was putting together the other video, I was looking at some of the other available paper books, and I did find one that's like witches, that I don't remember seeing in the store, but now I kind of want to look for it. Okay, so here's a larger version of that owl mushroom botanical print. That might work. Little castle stickers and stuff in here are cute. I don't know that that's something I would actively use. I'm not a big shiny sticker person when it comes to putting things in my journals. But, you know, who doesn't love a castle? So at the moment, the more that I flip through this, gosh, I've been online too much lately. The more I think that as much as I like it, I'm not sure I will use it. And that's one of the things I've run into a lot in recent months, recent days, when I think about junk journaling stuff. I have to be really thoughtful about thinking through how I will actively use something as opposed to just picking out things that I like. That's a big thing for me with stamps. The stamps that I love are not always stamps that I think I will use. And I don't do a lot of stamping outside of my journal making unless it's with usually my own stamps that I've created, I've carved. In my artwork, I do that. I've got a few stamps that I use for art that I did not make myself, but by and large, it is mostly stuff that I create myself. So I don't buy stamps anymore unless I can visualize how I will use them in a journal. I do really like these tags, but that's not enough to really justify using this book. And there's a lot of them that still wouldn't necessarily work for the journal. Some of this would work for my Alice in Wonderland journals that I need to get back to, but not enough. I feel like there's a lot of leftover. And am I likely to create a standalone journal that fits with this theme? Probably not. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this flip through, but I think I've drawn my own conclusion, which is simply, oops, I got caught up in something that I was really excited about without really thinking about how I was gonna use it. And at the end of the day, when I get ready to use it, I realize it's not right for me, and that's okay. So I'm gonna set this aside. Now, I have a couple of other things we can play around with before we stop this video. Let's take a look at paper and see if there's anything we think might work with the Poison Ledger. Because again, we've got a lot of floral botanical stuff going on in that Poison Ledger. So that theme, or those themes really do dovetail pretty nicely. It's just a matter of finding things that are maybe dark and moody enough to work. Ooh, like this here, I don't know specifically what plant that is, but it looks like it would fit really well with the idea of like a poisonous plant. And I think it works nicely with this with the orangey poison record book, at least. How does it work with some of my pinkier stuff? Let's see. not bad with the pinky stuff, like not perfect, but there's gonna be enough orange and yellow integrating and brown that it still might work. So this is potentially a good one. And frankly, I know I'm keeping this book, so I'm gonna pull it out. And it officially cannot be returned to the store. It is mine. Feels very final. I am very excited. Ooh, I like this black and white moth thing. I think by the time I like ink it and do some other stuff, I think that could be really cool. I don't think I mentioned this in the other video about the Paper Love, but I saw some comments online from people who were rating actually the other book, the Enchanted Kingdom Paper Love book, and not the paper. And they also mentioned the Flow paper books, especially I think the book for paper lovers. And I will say I have used those in the past. I don't feel like the imagery and art in those books lends to what I do journal-wise very much, although I did make an entire journal from papers in those books. So that's also another option if you're really interested in these books. Check out Flow magazine, and they have a range of books that are very similar to this paper that are really fun to play with. But again, a little bit more like modern in terms of art, or folk, like Swedish folk. They do come from, I think they're Swedish. I don't remember, but anyway, this is perfect for the Poison Ledger. I know offhand that this is a poisonous plant. I'm trying to remember if that's my foxglove or something else. I've got some ephemera with the plants that I sketched, and the plant itself identified. This is not the one I'm looking for, but that's an example. But this is perfect because we have a poisonous plant that is very prominently featured. So I absolutely think that's a good one to include in the Poison Ledger. I apologize if my voice sounds really scratchy. I will probably sound like this until ragweed season is over. I have pretty severe allergies, and every allergy season is my allergy season, but ragweed in particular is the devil. So I've always dried out from it. This is cool. It's very moody. Honestly, it's not something I would normally pair, but I do not dislike it. It feels like a nice, moody potential option. So I'm gonna pull it, because since we have decided to keep this book, if I pull it and I decide not to use it, I'll just file it away for future use, right? And this goes with it, and I love, because this is a nice coordinating envelope, because you're gonna use this to do your folding, and then that will be your envelope. Ooh, this too. I got some. So now I kind of just want to pull the whole kit and caboodle, because I assume this is supposed to go with it. But doesn't scream Poison Ledger to me the way that the original and some of the other coordinating ones did. These are some cute stickers. Again, I don't normally use stickers like this in like a junk journal type of journal, but I might either include it as ephemera for the journaler, or I might potentially sort of distress some of those stickers, use them and distress them, and turn them into something really fun. Also pretty. Ooh, a little tag thingy here. Not necessarily what I'm looking for in the moment, but I just really love all of this stuff. Gosh. Let's take a look at this little list journal. I had already taken off some of the sticky stuff that stuck it in because I think it was already a little loose or something. Oh, it is. It's a cute little, it's a journal for making lists. It wants me to write a list of the most beautiful poems here. I will not be doing that. This is not, for the record, I don't do a lot of actual journal writing. I like making journals because of the art and craft side of things. And I actually have a degree in creative writing, but over the years I have found that I am much more comfortable expressing myself with art than I am with words, and I feel like I have sort of lost the ability to, and the enjoyment, really the enjoyment in using words to express myself. So I'm also not super sentimental, so this is just not me. But if this is the kind of thing you're into, if you do like a lot of journal writing, this is the kind of thing you might really enjoy, right? Who I wanted to become when I grew up, what I do with my spare time, art and journal making. My best recipes, interesting. I have those stored in an app on my phone. My favorite flowers, the most comforting smells, the places I feel secure, books I want to read this year. 10 years from now, I will be 10 years older. I really like this bird painting. What love means to me. Recent acts of kindness. If I had a magic wand. My deepest secrets that nobody knows. What's holding me back in my life. This is just all over the place thematically. If I could go back in time. When lying was easier than telling the truth. Okay. Things I keep postponing. The 10 words that define who I am. My life would be incomplete without. Ordinary things that bring me the most joy. My guilty pleasures. And some pretty flower pictures. Okay, so this, again, if this is the kind of stuff that you love to fill in, then this is awesome. There's lots of different themes to cover, different areas to reflect on about yourself. Okay, this is stable bound. So here's what's definitely going to happen at some point. I'm going to remove those staples, remove these pages, repurpose them into something else that I would probably do, and put together a whole different journal, because that's just how I roll. I'm gonna pull this out because it's a little awkward leaving it in the book. All right, keep on going. That's too bright and happy for my journal of death. We have a notes journal, same kind of construction. Don't know what it's gonna say on the inside. All right, and these are held in by those little bits of sticky stuff, which thankfully are both easy to pull off and don't mess up the page beneath them. So I'm very grateful that they did not use some sort of abhorrent sticker that requires me to, you know, dig in with my nails and leaves weird residue and all of that kind of stuff. So let's look inside the notes book. This one is, it looks like no prompts, but just a bunch of pages to journal on. Oh, that is pretty. So, lovely. I like this one. That's the kind of thing that I might work with as is. Although most likely I will probably still pull it apart, repurpose it, and put it back together again. Because I just like doing that. I think it's fun, and I will not be stopped. exactly sure. These have little sort of perforations, but I'm not entirely certain what they think I will want to do with them. Turn them into some sort of tab, perhaps? Don't know. But they're neat. Ooh, you can pull this one out to go with our other moody flowers we're using and experiment with them. Okay. Gotta get it from the perforation. Oh, nice. I do like that these are all perforated. Once we're in the middle of this very chunky book, it is a little fiddly to get it out, but if you're gentle, you should be able to pull it out without tearing anything. I don't throw a lot of parties, so I'm probably not going to use those as actual invitation cards, but in the world of junk journal, art journal, whatnot making, makes a lot of sense to just cover them up and repurpose them. More stickers. Ooh, okay. Yet another. Can't remember if that's foxglove or the other one. I'm gonna call it foxglove, but there's another flower that I felt like was similar in shape, but I think that's foxglove. I need the foxglove because it is poisonous. And we are working on poisony stuff. Whew. All right, got it. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Yeah. I officially really love this book. Not all of it is going to work with my poison ledger, obviously, because that's very specific. But I make a lot of journals that are just colorful, floral, and abstract floral type themes, and this is a dream for that. So there was also a cottage one I wanted to take a look at that I think might coordinate well with the papers in here, though I don't think of myself, I can't get the sticky stuff off into my trash can. I don't think of myself as being very cottagey. So this is just like a large piece of paper. These would be fun to fold into little books. I think they are meant to be wrapping paper. They will not be used by me as wrapping paper, but they would be fun substrate to work on to create cute little books, like some sort of meander fold or zine. I will say the sticky stuff did kind of stain this image a little bit. It's not the end of the world. It's definitely, there you go. You can see it's like an oily residue. Definitely in the world of junk journaling, distressing, that is something we can easily deal with, but worth noting. So they gave us these bugs to fussy cut, nice thick white borders. I suppose if you want to do that and leave those borders, you can just like ink them, spray them, stuff like that, to make them blend into your background a bit more. You know, I haven't really thought about it a lot, but bugs do, I think, work well in the whole poisony, ledgery theme, right? It's the dark, creepy, crawly, achy, spooky. We've got some coordinating papers in here that are just very good for mixing in. I may come back and snag a couple of those if I feel like I need something like that when I'm incorporating other parts of this into my poison excuse me, poison journal. I don't know what these are supposed to be. They're like, they look kind of like washi tape almost because they're strips. They don't feel like tags and bookmarks like these are, but yeah, maybe bookmarks. Not quite sure. Kind of dig this dark moody floral, and ooh, it has a weird beetle thing on the back. I'm not entirely sure that I will incorporate this into the journal. Oh, and I'm ripping. Okay, let's come from the bottom and see if we have better luck and avoid further ripping paper. Okay, so yeah, a little tear there. I have boo-boo tape. I have ways and means. Oh, let me show you what was on the back. That's what did it for me. Between the creepy beetle and the moody florals, I figure there's a chance we'll want to use it. Pretty, pretty, pretty. You know what also would be fun? I'm not going to do it right now because I kind of feel like I'm already on a path I like. But you could take some of these like bright, happy florals and really sort of grunge them up so that when you put them with that poison ledger, it's just sort of like a nice, almost juxtaposition of themes. It's sort of like, ooh, this beautiful, innocent floral that will kill you. Pretty. These are washies. They're shiny, but they're like washi tape type things, long stickers. These little tag-y shaped stickers are pretty cool. Ooh, speaking of tags, I want to incorporate, since we pulled the bugs already, kind of want to do more with that and see. I've got a bunch of tags obviously for my kit. Well, maybe not obviously. You may not have watched the video where I go through and demonstrate what's in the kit and put the folio together. Okay, now I am having a lot of trouble pulling stuff out. It'll get easier the more I remove. I'm well aware of that. Let's see if turning it around helps at all. It's part of the problem is that it's just wanting to pop out the punchable tags. Maybe that's all that's probably the best approach actually. Because they're starting to try and pop out and they're gonna rip or get distorted if I'm not very careful. So I'm gonna leave the page in and pop the tags out. So I have a ton of tags in my little ledger kit, but again, I really like to mix and match things. So working these in will be fun and a good way to tie in some of these other papers. Because when I put together my own poison ledger journal stuff, I don't want it to just be items from the kit because I find that very boring. And it is okay if you don't find that boring. If you like that, that's awesome. It's just not me. That kind of works with some of the other stuff I've been pulling. So let's grab it out. Just this one here is enough. It's a cute little bird. I need to do just a big giant bird book. Little birds. More envelope paper that is pretty, that I like, but I think I'll come back for it. I don't know that I need a ton of those. I already have several pulled. All right, that's Paper, the Floral Riot collection. And we've pulled some stuff to go with our Poison Ledger project. What I need to do before I make my next video, or maybe during making my next video, is start to think how I want to put this together, because I've already demoed how to make folio like this. But I want to play around with the components in the kit and make something that's a little bit more of like an actual journal, larger pages to write on, that kind of stuff. And either I will put the folio in it, or I will repurpose the folio components, right? Because this could easily be a journal cover and back, and then I could add a spine, add some signatures, and repurpose all of this other stuff. And I'm leaning towards something like that. You could, if you wanted to make a skinny one, also like staple a small signature in here, or something like that. But I think I'm gonna do something a little chunkier, and I just need to pull out all of the stuff I've printed, despite my printer colors being off. And some of those are things that I printed as tests that didn't work. I had to resize or recolor. So I've got a lot of bits and bobs in here, some of which maybe didn't even make it into the kit, but that I still want to make use of. So follow along. I'm gonna be back again soon with another video working on this poison ledger. If you are interested in purchasing the poison ledger, the link is going to be in the description box. If you're not interested, that's fine. There's still a lot, and I actually love watching people play with digital kits, just to see how they use them or get ideas for decorations or other things, even if I never get that kit myself. So there's going to be plenty to follow along with, whether you have this or not. Please don't go out and buy anything if you don't actually want it or can't afford it. There is plenty to learn and plenty to get out of the videos without the kit itself. If you've stuck with me so far, thank you. I will hopefully see you again soon. If you liked this, please consider giving this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you get notified of future videos, particularly while I continue to work on pulling things into this poison ledger. If you have a question or a comment or something you'd like to see more of, please let me know below in the comments section. Maybe my cat will join us in the next video. She was napping the entire time today. Thanks for coming along on this journey with me, and I will see you again soon.